This is Waves, a podcast from APTA Michigan. I'm Andy Wicks, here with Catherine Klein. In episode 53, we spoke to Jordan Bowman, a third-year student physical therapist at Grand Valley State University and winner of the Solstice Scholarship, an award given to students to use to better their community. The Solstice Scholarship is given to students at several institutions, including Western Michigan University in Kalamazoo. We had the opportunity to speak to the very first winner of the scholarship at Western Michigan, Chloe Catallo, who told us about how she found a natural fit for one of her favorite hobbies as a healing tool for folks who have been affected by substance abuse.
My name is Chloe Catallo. I'm a second-year physical therapy student at Western Michigan, and I have a really strong interest right now in pediatrics, but we'll see where that takes me. I'm from the east side of the state of Michigan, but I'm thrilled to be here.
Nice. Very good. And the reason why we were notified and really given a hot insider tip that we should talk to you is because you are the first winner. I'm going to read it officially from the email from Steve Leopard. The first annual Western Michigan University DPT Solstice Scholarship winner. So first of all, congratulations.
Congrats.
Well, Chloe, I'm going to let you tell us a little bit about what the Solstice Scholarship is, why you got interested in it, and what you did to earn this award.
Yeah. So the Solstice Scholarship is an opportunity for second-year DPT students to apply and kind of throw an idea out there of how we can support our community. And once you are awarded the scholarship, you can use those funds to support a mission in the community and put on a really fun event. So Steve and everyone came into class one day and kind of pitched the idea and said that they would be taking interviews within the week. And I kind of immediately was like, this is something I think I might be interested in. Kind of throughout the presentation was jotting down notes and thinking of things that I could do. And in my 5-minute drive back to my apartment, I was calling places to see if this would even be a possibility. I didn't want to get myself too excited if it wasn't a possibility. And then as soon as some venues were like, absolutely, we'd be interested in this, I was like, all right, I'll kind of move forward and try for the interview. Do you want me to talk about like what I did and everything?
Yeah. Do you tell us as much as a little as what's your story, whatever
keep going.
Yeah.
Okay. So I immediately knew that I wanted to do an event centered around supporting victims of substance abuse. That's something that has touched my family from a really young age. And so kind of throughout my undergrad years, I really worked to be an advocate for those individuals. And so I knew immediately I wanted to do something surrounding supporting them. And I was able to find the Center for Healing of Kalamazoo. And I was like, this is perfect. Their mission was wonderful.
What is the Center of Healing of Kalamazoo?
Yes, it's kind of right by campus, and they have a lot of different missions that they support. They support children, and they have after-school programs, and they have an inpatient facility, an outpatient facility. Just supporting people in general that are struggling with a host of different things.
Nice.
So I knew immediately that was who I wanted to go with, and they were happy to have me. I was able to go in and do a tour and kind of meet the staff and things like that. And that just further solidified. I was like, this is a good place. So I knew I wanted to do something like that. And I wanted to think of something kind of outside of the box, I guess, as far as an event and kind of challenge myself in that way. And it struck me at the end of the presentation, the Solstice Scholarship, their kind of mantra is to lift others up. And immediately it like clicked in my brain. I rock climb. And so I was like, I haven't heard of an event like that they've done in the past.
I can speak with a lot of authority. You are the first one to come up with a rock climbing event.
I thought it would be kind of unique and something different. And so I immediately, like I said, in that car ride, I am a member at Klein Kalamazoo. And I was like, here's my idea. We're in the very rough stages of this idea. I just thought of it like 20 minutes ago. what if we didn't want to?
Extremely rough. Couldn't be rougher.
This idea is
They were
very new.
like,
Very new.
they were thrilled and they're like, we'll help you do whatever you need to do for it. So I'm like, okay. So at least I have a place that would be willing to participate if I was chosen to do so. And from there, I just kind of pitched my idea to them. And for me, going through the experience of having a family member that did struggle with substance abuse and how that can really change family dynamics. And there's a lot of hostility and things like that. And at least from my experiences, sitting across the table in like family counseling isn't always the most comfortable and open environment.
Yeah.
Feels very intense.
Yes, yes, very intense. So I thought, let's have, these individuals that are struggling and let's have their families come in too. They can learn a new skill and they're literally encouraging each other and having to trust each other to not let each other fall down the wall. And I thought maybe that would be a little bit more of like a natural way of
Huh.
kind of rebuilding rather than just like sit in front of me and tell me how you feel.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where that was born.
Rock climbing as therapy.
Yeah.
What a cool idea. I want to do that. I want to do this. Next time I see my counselor, I'm going to say, hey, can we go rock climbing instead?
Right.
Is that cool? Can we do that? I think that'd be more fun.
Yeah.
I think rock climbing, at least I've done bouldering before, but
Mhm.
using a belay, that would be therapy in the sense of exposure therapy.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had to tell a lot of the participants that came that were kind of looking apprehensive. I was like, I've been doing it for a while and I still will like hum songs or like talk to myself as I'm going up the wall to like distract myself.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, it's definitely a little spooky when you're up there.
So you were chosen as the winner. So
Yes.
again, the
Yes.
first of what will be many winners from Western. Maybe we can talk to Steve Butt naming it the Chloe Catallo.
I,
We'll see. We'll see. And so what was the next step after you were chosen there?
So next step, I'm very type A, so I had many spreadsheets going, trying to figure out like a way to plan this. I picked my date with Kalamazoo and was able to kind of get that secured. And then I knew I wanted to do a raffle situation. So I emailed every business downtown Kalamazoo to see if they'd be interested in making donations to the raffle. And there were so many. I was so overwhelmed by the amount of people
Oh,
that were
wow.
interested. We had a whole table full of
Cool.
things from like museum passes to comedy show tickets and gift cards. And
Oh,
it was
cool.
wonderful. So humongous gratitude towards everyone that participated.
Sometimes you just got to ask.
Yeah, I was really blown away by how interested everyone was. So that was awesome. And then I just was kind of plastering it everywhere. Everyone that I could talk to, I was like, let's talk about this event that I have coming up. I also sent emails out to every climbing gym in Michigan to see if they would be interested in participating or if they'd be interested in donating like items to the
Yeah.
event. Because my dream was to be able to give these individuals equipment and so they wouldn't have to purchase anything themselves. And this was something that they ended up
Yeah.
wanting to
Liking.
take on. And there were so many climbing gyms. There's both Planet Rocks in Madison Heights and Ann Arbor. And then there was Terra Firma Bouldering Company in Traverse City. Send me humongous boxes of
Oh, wow.
shoes and
Wow,
squats
awesome.
and chalk bags and harnesses. So I was able to kind of give that to the Center for Healing at the end.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
Wow.
that was really awesome. So it was a labor of love, but it was I had a while to plan. I feel like I had from like October to January and it flew by.
So that
Absolutely.
doesn't sound like a lot of time to me.
But I loved every minute. A lot of people, like professors and things, were like, "Are you gonna be happy when it's like over?" And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" The most rewarding thing I think I've ever done up to
Well,
this point. I would do
Nice.
it 100 times over.
Cool.
Wow. How many people participated in the event?
So that was another shocker for me. When I booked the date with Climb Kalamazoo, I said maybe like 15 people. I don't know. It was a little bit of a slow start with the RSVP, so I'm like, I'm not sure. And we ended up having well over 50. Like,
Whoa!
Wow, there's a lot of interest.
That's
it was,
fantastic.
people just kept kind of pouring in the door, and I was like, all right, this is wonderful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you get a sense for, do you feel like you sparked an interest in rock climbing in anyone who was there?
I think so. There are definitely a few of my classmates are interested in doing. I had a few professors that
See if we can get a picture inserted into the podcast here from social media that there was a good turnout. I recognized a couple people in those climbing harnesses.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's something everyone kind of proved to themselves they could do, something that they maybe didn't think they could do before we got there, which was an added bonus for me to see everyone kind of like, I just did that. And I was like, you did. That's awesome.
So we were talking before Catherine joined us. You anticipated graduation date this December.
Yes.
So we're hitting the home stretch there. And again, if you thought October to January was fast, just wait. All of a sudden you're like, oh shoot, I got the NPTE coming up. And you said you moved back to the east side of the state, closer to home. And tell us about I'll ask you two questions here. One I asked you already, so the answer should be a little easier. What do you want for your dream job? But then I'm going to challenge you to say, how can you incorporate a little bit of this Solstice Scholarship energy into work?
Ooh, okay. I like that. Okay, so my dream job, I said I really am interested in peds, but after having my first rotation over the summer in outpatient ortho with adults, I really liked the relationship building aspect of working with adults. So if I could do like a 75-25 with peds and adults, if I could somehow create that, I would love that. But I think through this experience, my eyes are a little bit more open to causes that I can advocate for and like things that I can kind of poke my hands into a little bit. So I think even through the next clinical, and I start clinical tomorrow, my second rotation, and if there's things there that I feel like maybe I could lend a hand in supporting now that I've had this experience, I think this is kind of my little niche that I found myself in. I'd really like to continue if there's kind of a cause that I see needs supporting. I'd love to,
Oh,
with my
there's
experience.
causes. Don't worry about that. There'll be no shortage of that. What's your rotation? What's the setting for your next rotation coming up?
Acute care inpatient.
He says with trepidation.
You might like it more than you think that you would.
You
Yeah.
might be like, this is my jam. These are my people now.
I'm
Scrubs for
excited.
life.
I think it'll be a good opportunity to be outside of my comfort zone, which is always good. So
Yep.
I'm looking forward to it.
So I'll just put in a little plug, especially as we are a podcast technically of APTA Michigan. So thank you, APTA Michigan. But APTA has a lot of opportunities for ways to get involved in things like helping serve the underserved in a lot of different ways. And I'll link to some things in the show notes about opportunities to advocate for our profession. That is actually part of our, gosh, I'm going to say code of ethics. I really hope I'm right. Let me.
While Andy's searching, Chloe, can you speak a little bit about what drew you to rock climbing in the first place, like on a personal level?
Yeah. So honestly, it was, I don't know if you two feel the same way. I had never heard of it really before as a thing to do. But now that I'm within the walls of that community, I feel like it's everywhere. I pass a gym everywhere I go. I'd never really heard of it before. And my boyfriend is really big into it. So for Valentine's Day one year, I went and got belay certified so that we could go together. And then once we went, I was like, I could get into this. I can really go with this. And I think it's fun too because I'm terrified of heights, truthfully. And so I think a lot of times it's definitely a physical challenge, but a lot of times it is a mental challenge. When you get to the top, I cannot believe I just did that. It is, you have to like push through a lot of mental barriers to be like, you can keep going. You definitely can. It's scary, but just try. So I love it. It's a fun dual challenge.
I guess I'm just curious because it's interesting to me that you like personally went through those some of those struggles and then were kind of drawn to rock climbing. So I'm just wondering if you felt like you had any connections or like that helped you process some of your own personal stuff too.
Yeah, I think through that, I mean, it really shows you how tough you are. And so I think the parallels between that, being able to push through and do things that you didn't think that you'd be able to do, that's really helpful. And even as silly as it sounds, the trust aspect of like, you're kind of
Yeah.
trusting someone else a lot with
Mhm.
making sure you're staying upright. So that definitely is transferred into life outside of climbing,
Yeah.
just confidence and being able to not be such a control heavy person and relinquish some it's
Gravity is in
really
control when you're rock climbing.
and some good lessons outside of the gym too.
Awesome.
Okay, I found the thing I was looking for. So thank you for giving me that time. It is in the Guide for Professional Conduct. So thank you, Catherine. And Principle 8A, titled Pro Bono Services, is as follows. Physical therapists shall provide pro bono physical therapist services or support organizations that meet the health needs of people who are economically disadvantaged, uninsured, and underinsured. So I think that's broadly interpreted and to speak to ways of advocating for health equity for those who cannot access it as someone who might be economically advantaged can. It's something I try to instill in my students a lot is to think about how you can do this in whatever setting you're in. But yeah, so Chloe, I think you have that drive in you. I'm not too concerned about that part. I think that's just got to find you a venue
Oh yeah,
for all that stuff.
absolutely.
Our other Solstice Scholarship winner also doing something to support people recovering from addiction?
That's correct. Jordan Bowman from Grand Valley State University, current third year student. Yes, did a similar. Her background is similar to yours, Chloe, in that substance abuse was something that had impacted her very personally. She ended up working with a shelter in the Grand Rapids area called the Guiding Light that has a very specific substance abuse recovery program, and used the funds to help organize and put on a 5K for people who are in that population, and said it was just awesome and a wonderful experience. So that episode is in our archives. So if you're interested, go back and look and listen to it.
Absolutely.
Plug for the archives, but also maybe a professional connection. You guys can
Yeah,
Yeah.
team up.
Jordan's pretty rad.
absolutely.
I can vouch for that. She's pretty rad. Yeah, so that's one thing I love. Stephen Leopard just came to Grand Valley to talk to the second year cohort just a few weeks ago when we're recording this, to give that pitch that he gave to your cohort. Man, oh man, what's going on with my words today? So I've already had a couple students reaching out to me about, do you think this would be a good idea? Do you think this would be a good idea? I'm like, yeah, any idea is a good idea. You know, as he said, we want to give you money. So give us an idea so we can give you money. It's really neat to see. I love to see the leadership that Steve and that organization have shown for the student population to really model that behavior of altruism and advocacy for those who are in need, and really just showing the students like this is something that is a need in our profession to get a little bit more of that. So
Yeah.
good on you for taking that step. Chloe, we are very pro soapbox on this podcast. So if
Okay.
you have a soapbox upon which you would like to stand and say something, the floor is yours. I didn't prepare you for this.
No, that's okay. To your point, that's something that I've always said I've been interested in kind of beyond graduation is working somewhere where I can do a lot of community outreach because I think their health equity is something that's very important to me and something that's always kind of on my mind. And so if I can do even research kind of into that realm or community outreach, I think it's really important. I think everyone should be mindful of that in everything that we do because some people don't have the same opportunities as us. And I think that we should be grateful for the opportunities that we have. And because we have these opportunities, we should be able to lend whatever hands we can to others that need it. I think it's super important. And I hope that kind of as the Solstice Scholarship continues to grow and be more prevalent, that people will kind of start to hop on that train a little bit more.
Yeah, very much so. You bring up a good point about, I think you said something about, I hope I find a place where I can a place of employment where I can do this? And I think that's a good question in an interview, to ask about the culture of the place where you're working. Because if you say, "Wha- does this organization support any causes or anything like that?" And they look at you with blank stares, you might be
You know,
like,
it's not a
"Oh,
good fit. Yeah.
yeah, maybe this isn't the best place for me to work."
Right.
So yeah, I think that's, a manager once told me you're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you
Yeah.
to know if it's going to be a good mesh. So
It's hard to
excellent.
remember that when you're just graduated. Please.
Now I have a list of questions for you, sir.
If you want me.
Yeah,
Wait, sure.
coming with that kind of energy, Chloe. I love it. Oh man. Catherine, any other topics or thoughts or anything like that you want to talk about?
I'm always excited when we get to talk to these scholarship winners because you guys have such fun energy and good ideas and just yeah, I hope everyone who listens is equally as invigorated with both creativity and it's I think it's great that you're able to kind of pull from areas that are very like authentic to you and make a great event and share that with other people. So
Yeah,
awesome.
this seems like this whole idea came about very organically for you. So
Definitely.
that's awesome. So Chloe Catallo, future leader of the profession, future world changer. Keep an eye
We
out.
pretty much everyone who comes on, we dub them a future leader of the profession. So we're
An honor.
we're anointing a lot of people here.
We are. We should come up with like a sticker or a pin or something like that. Just,
Hey, I was on Waves. I'm a future leader.
the Waves Podcast Future Leader of the Profession Club. Oh my gosh. We might have an idea there for. Does Riley do graphic design? Maybe we can talk to her about that.
She might be. I do know someone else who might be able to help with that too. So
Okay. You might get some in the mail, Chloe. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, thank you for taking time to talk with us about this. Congratulations again on your winning of this scholarship. Again, the first of many for Western students that are out there. Pay attention to the example that Chloe set and follow in her footsteps. I think you could do a lot worse out there. And good luck with the last, 9 months now of your student physical therapy career.
Thank you.
The end will be here before you know it. All right. Thank you, Chloe.
Thank you so much to you both.
Chloe Catallo is finishing up her schooling at Western Michigan University and will soon take the physical therapy world by storm. She is officially a member of the Waves Future Leader of the Profession Club. Waves is a production of APTA Michigan and is hosted by Dr. Catherine Klein and me, Andy Wicks. Editing help on this episode from Chris Shoemate. You can find us online at www.aptami.org or on social media at APTAMI You can also find links to topics discussed in our show notes. Thank you for listening, and may your documentation always be done on time.